KXAN.
In-depth, investigative. This is KXAN News.
Oh, the rain is finally coming down in central Texas. Not just rain, some storms too. This video is from earlier today. Some of you may have been woken up by the storms this morning. This video is from Taylor showing the lightning striking in the distance. And a few seconds later, you see that blue glow. It looks like it hit a transformer, causing it to explode.
And happening right now, well, just check it out. We want to take you outside live from our Austonian camera. You see a few drops on the lens there. It is gray. It's one of those cozy days where you wish you were inside somewhere, reading a good book. Hey, we have meteorologist Kristen Curry joining us now to talk us through all this rain and what folks are expecting.
Yeah, it seems to be, within the last hour or two, radar kind of exploded, and that's going to be the nature of these storms over the next few hours. Let me show you what I am looking at when it comes to radar, because we still have one severe thunderstorm warning in effect, and it's out towards South Austin. Now, this is in place for another 15 minutes, but the storm is now starting to finally move. It was almost near stationary there for a while, but we still have quite a bit of that heavy rain, lightning down there in South Austin. So here's South Park Meadows, downtown, up to the north there's Congress, and then you can see all that heavy rain falling as you get into the northern portion of Hayes County. So this will certainly impact 35. Visibility will come down with that heavy rain as well. As we look I would say a little bit further up to the north, these storms are going to be ones to watch because they went up real fast. So we could potentially be looking at some smaller hail, non-severe hail out of this storm just to the west of Round Rock, but moving a little closer to the city, and then North Shoal Creek as well. The lightning starting to pick up there. And then as we get you into the hill country, these storms that we have in Austin actually started here, and now here comes another round. Granite Shoals, Sandy, Fredericksburg, all looking at thunderstorms at this hour, heavy rain and lightning. We've got our newest camera there at Barons Creek Vineyards in Fredericksburg, giving us a view of that storm. You can see the raindrops there on the camera. It is likely these storms are going to be with us for the next several hours, kind of pulsing up and down for the next, I would say, at least tonight and likely into tomorrow and again on Saturday. A lot to discuss with this active weather pattern. We'll kind of talk a little bit more about the timing the next time I see you.
Okay, Kristen, thank you so much. The conclusion of the impeachment trial for suspended Attorney General Ken Paxton could be revealed as soon as tomorrow. We are watching the time, and today the defense called its first witnesses.
And this comes as the House rested its case yesterday. The House started with about 2 hours left of cross-examination. The defense has about 9 hours left for its side of the case. Our Capitol correspondent Monica Madden is live at the Capitol. Monica, what have we heard from the defense witnesses today?
Hey, Daniel, well, keep in mind today was the first opportunity for defense really to counter some of the arguments we've been hearing from prosecution throughout this trial, aside from their cross-examination, of course. Now, as we know, one of the main articles of impeachment is surrounded by the whistleblowers and what they say is wrongful termination by Attorney General Ken Paxton when some of his former top deputies went to the FBI to report him amid their concerns about his relationship with Austin real estate developer Nate Paul, one of Paxton's friends and a campaign donor. But today we heard from current employees of the Attorney General's office who say there was no wrongdoing. Defense's third witness today was Henry De La Garza. He is the longtime head of HR at the Attorney General's office, has been there for years now. And in their questioning, defense's attorneys laid out the foundation that whistleblowers were not wrongfully fired, but were insubordinate in the end.
And did good reasons and fair reasons exist for each of the former staffers that were involuntarily terminated?
In my opinion, yes.
Did Ken Paxton ever indicate expressly or implicitly that these former staffers needed to be fired because they made a report to law enforcement?
Not to my knowledge.
Do you have any knowledge that...
Now, in the cross-examination, prosecutors, really pushed back on one of their key arguments that the whistleblowers did do the right thing by reporting Paxton to the FBI, and they say that the whistleblowers are protected under the Texas Whistleblower Act. Now, we are closing in, getting closer and closer to closing arguments. We could be getting to that by Friday, and Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick said there will be no days off until they reach a verdict. Daniel, Britt.
All right, Monica, thank you very much. You can watch the entire Senate trial each day on our website, KXAN.com. Check out the Paxton impeachment section. Hunter Biden has been indicted on federal gun charges. The indictment of the president's son comes after a plea agreement on tax and gun charges fell apart in July.
As NBC's Alice Barr reports, House Republicans are also probing his finances.
Today, the son of the President of the United States indicted on 3 federal gun-related charges. Hunter Biden is accused of lying on a form while buying a revolver back in 2018 by falsely claiming he was not using illegal drugs, also facing charges of possessing a firearm while using a narcotic. The indictment comes after a plea deal fell apart that would have had the president's son plead guilty to the gun charges, along with separate misdemeanor counts of failing to properly pay his taxes in 2017 and 18.
This is what happens when plea deals blow up. The prosecutor says, okay, you want your plea back? You want to go to trial? Then we're going to indict you.
The deal collapsed when, under a judge's questioning, prosecutors said it would not protect Hunter Biden from any further charges potentially related to foreign business dealings. That's an area House Republicans have been investigating for months, now launching an impeachment inquiry seeking bank records and other documents from Hunter and Joe Biden as they try to tie the president to his son's business affairs. So far, they have not produced evidence making that connection.
Yeah, any comment on the Hunter Biden investigation, sir?
The case is being overseen by special counsel David Weiss, a Trump appointee who the Biden administration kept in place to continue leading the investigation into the president's son. The indictment comes as President Biden is fighting for a second term, allies working to insulate him from the younger Biden's legal battles as the president stands by his son, who he says is working to rebuild his life. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
And Democrats on Capitol Hill are coming to the president's defense, while Republican lawmakers say these gun charges are unsatisfactory, arguing that among the charges Hunter Biden could face, these are the only ones that cannot be connected to the president. The special counsel says the investigation will continue.
Well, just hours ahead of a midnight strike deadline, union workers and the big 3 U.S. automakers are still reportedly nowhere near an agreement on a new contract. The United Auto Workers Union demanding a 46% raise over the next 4 years, with manufacturers reportedly countering with an offer of less than half of that. So what else are they asking for? They want full pay for a 4-day work week, increases to their pension plan, and an end to the use of temporary workers. The big 3 automakers countering with a reported 17 to 20% raise, added vacation and personal days off, and increased retirement benefits, along with billions in economic losses. A strike would put the U.S. automakers at a competitive disadvantage as well. American plants building electric and foreign vehicles are non-unionized and will continue on a normal production schedule. Coming up, a new program working to improve maternal and infant health here in Central Texas.
And new guidelines Austin ISD is putting to use to keep students safe in the heat. There's a new effort to empower mothers here in Texas. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Texas, along with Houston-Tillotson University, are starting a program called Boldly Blue. Now, the Blue stands for Birthing, Learning, Understanding, and Empowering. The program is part of Blue Cross Blue Shield's expanded Special Beginnings initiative, which aims to increase the number of diverse doulas, midwives, and certified lactation consultants in Central Texas. It also strives to create a maternal health research network to strengthen the practices of birth workers. For example, Houston-Tillotson will provide entrepreneurship workshops and mentoring for those in this line of work. All of this is in the hopes to improve Texas maternal and infant health, particularly for marginalized groups.
In Texas, Black birth givers are 2.3 times more likely to die because of childbirth. And here in Travis County, the statistic is 2.5 times more likely.
Simply put, these birth workers protect the health of mothers and infants. We need more of them.
And the expansion of this initiative comes from recommendations in the 2022 joint report by the Texas Maternal Mortality and Morbidity Review Committee and the Texas Department of State Health Services.
Tonight, nonprofit Third Future Schools will update AISD's board on their action plan to try to improve Mendez Middle School. The Board of Trustees approved the collaboration with Third Future Schools in March of 2022, following consistent F ratings by the TEA. The outlined plan includes improving the campus to a D rating this school year, a C rating next year, and a B rating by the 2024-2025 and 2025-26 school years. Now, we're still waiting on ratings from this past school year. On Tuesday, the TEA delayed the release of those ratings to have more time to analyze growth.
AISD is also adopting new guidelines to protect students and staff in hot weather. 5-minute water breaks are required now every 15 to 20 minutes for outdoor activities once the temperature hits 95 degrees. Starting at 100 degrees, outdoor practices and athletics and fine arts are limited to 2 hours. And starting at 105 degrees, outdoor practices are limited to 1 hour. The district is also purchasing new wet bulb globe temperature monitors for all middle and high schools to help guide decisions about the safety of outdoor activities.
Quick whipping winds that could be dangerous. Folks in Cedar Park say a microburst toppled their neighborhood. The damage it caused coming up.
Wind, rain, and even some small hail. Look at the view from our Estonian weather camera there. Dark skies, very low visibility as we are now tracking a storm pretty much centered right over downtown. There's much more on radar to cover. I'll see you right after the break.
We have some breaking news right now. The Hayes County Sheriff's Office says the 911 line is out of service right now. So if you have an emergency, they're asking that you call the number on your screen right there. That is 512-393-7896. We will, of course, update you when it's back up and running.
Well, our neighbors in Cedar Park say an early morning microburst lifted shingles off roofs, flattened fences, and damaged dozens of homes.
KXAN's Mercedes Hernandez spoke with homeowners who spent most of the day cleaning up after this sudden storm.
This is the moment when lightning, heavy rain, and strong winds rushed into Cedar Park. In the daylight, the aftermath, this flattened gazebo, shingles in the street, even this overturned shipping container weighing 2 tons.
Looked outside and saw there were no more fences. Our shed was gone.
The storm woke Carrie Johansson up around 5 a.m. The winds ripped out part of her home's HVAC system, broke down her fence, and tore off parts of her roof. She says the sound when the storm rolled through is like nothing she'd ever heard before.
Between the wind and the hail, it's an indescribable noise. It was just very loud. It was a sound of, something definitely had happened.
Her daughter Christina came over once the sun came up. Her son was staying with Johansson when the storm hit.
You're okay.
No.
He's okay.
Dajin Norali took his dog for a walk around the neighborhood and says nearly every home on their block had some kind of damage.
But mostly there are damage about everywhere.
As neighbors repair and rebuild, Johansson says she's grateful that this storm wasn't any worse.
We have a house, we have each other, but it could have been
much worse.
There we go.
Yeah.
In Cedar Park, Mercedes Hernandez, KXAN News.
Now, the city of Cedar Park says no injuries were reported because of this storm, thankfully, and Kristen is telling us this was likely a microburst.
And microbursts can be small but mighty. The First Warning Weather Team wants you to know all about them so you can know what to expect when they do hit. Chief Meteorologist David Yeomans has a lesson on microbursts as part of the First Warning Weather University. You can find that with this story on KXAN.com.
And we want to take everybody back outside because in light of the storms, I think you have to look really closely here from the Estonian camera. But perhaps a little bit of good news. There's rain, but there's also a rainbow that we saw. And we're not making it up, right, Kristen? We did see it.
It's because we spoke it into existence.
I can still kind of see it in the middle of the screen.
Let's show everybody at home on TV, and then it disappears, right?
Oh, my goodness.
Camera shy. And that is something that we could certainly see. So whether you see, a rainbow, hail, some wind damage, let us know. Send those pictures to us at reported@KXAN.com, because if I show you what's going on radar, I'm going to need your eyes and ears out there. Let's begin your forecast with a live look outside. I'm loving this camera that we've got out in Fredericksburg because you can see the heavy rain. Every once in a while, get a big old flash of lightning too. Two things I want to remind you of. One, these live on our website 24/7, KXAN.com. If you click under the weather tab, you'll find a whole slew of resources, but all of the weather cameras are on there, and we got quite a few showing rain. And then the second thing I want to remind you of, the rainfall total page is also on our website, and you can zoom all the way down to your neighborhood and see how much you've picked up so far today. It's a 24-hour running total, and those numbers are climbing, man. We've got big rain falling down there in south and southeast Austin at the moment here. So Miller getting wet. We've got real good rain falling out towards Hawley, and then even the Circuit of the Americas, I was starting to see some of the showers and storms there. That web camera lives online. And then that deep kind of burgundy color here just to the south of Elroy, some really heavy rain falling, anywhere from about a quarter of an inch to half an inch per hour at the very least underneath some of those heavier showers. But the only real downside to this right now is it's, I think, pretty much going to tie up our evening commute home. That at this point is a guarantee. But the severe thunderstorm warning has disappeared. I'm not seeing any confirmed hail out of these storms. That's good news. So if anything, oh, see, I spoke it into existence. Let me go back because that is a brand new severe thunderstorm warning. When it flashes like that, that means it's new. So I'm going to stop this real quick because I want to make sure I get to it for those out towards eastern Travis County. Let me scoot this over. There you go. See, so Wildwood, that is a new severe thunderstorm warning that they just put out, and I guarantee you that's going to be for some hail and gusty winds. Severe thunderstorm warning that's going to extend into Bastrop. That goes until 6:15, 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and $50 size hail. Bastrop, you've got about 20 minutes to move your car. So let's do that now while that storm, the bulk of it, is still out to our west. And then we're going to make sure our vehicle is in a place of safety. We are in a place of safety by the time this thing gets to us. But Cedar Creek at this point, we just want to make sure we're staying inside. Let that storm pass. We have some non-severe thunderstorms out towards Gillespie County, but these are spreading out, and these, generally speaking, are pushing towards the Austin metro. General directions about southeast at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Here's big picture. So storms lighting up on radar. Got some storm development there now just to the south of Burnett, lining 281. Hayes County, western Travis County, heads up. Here comes another round. And as we've been kind of talking to you through the evening about this, these storms go up quick. They really start hot, but they also weaken pretty quickly too. So don't be surprised to see some severe thunderstorm warnings maybe get reissued, but they're not going to be in effect for a very long time, probably about maybe 15-30 minutes while that storm goes up and then it weakens. We've got that 40 to 50% chance of storms and showers through tonight, and we're going to roll this into tomorrow too with temperatures on the cooler side. Best data I have for you right now showing, I think, a pretty good handle on what our radar looks like now. If I put this into motion, storms continuing into our eastern counties. This is the round that's right now out towards 281. It will continue to pass to the east, maybe a little bit of a lull tonight. We get right back into storm action tomorrow. Here's just before lunchtime for your Friday. Those storms will pass west to east into the Austin metro as we get into Friday midday, maybe late afternoon. Additional ½ inch to 2 inches of rain, isolated pockets of more. So flooding still a possibility here. Not widespread river flooding, but just the nuisance flooding. The low water crossing in your neighborhood that always floods, that is going to flood with these storms. 70% chance of storms tomorrow, 60% Saturday, and then we'll start to take our foot off the gas here with those rain chances, drier skies, and hotter temperatures next week.
Well, the continued debate over whether UFOs are real, what a report released by NASA today says about the mysterious objects. NASA says there is no evidence to suggest that unidentified anomalous phenomena, also known as UAPs or UFOs, have extraterrestrial origins. After a year-long study by an independent team, the agency released its report this morning. NASA Administrator Bill Nelson says more science is needed to understand these objects. And while it's still unknown exactly what these UAPs are, it's NASA's mission to find out. The agency has created a new position to help guide efforts to do so.
If you ask me, do I believe there's life in a universe that is so vast that it's hard for me to comprehend how big it is? My personal answer is yes.
Now, this comes as lawmakers in Mexico heard testimony yesterday from people suggesting the possibility that extraterrestrials might exist. The remains of an alleged non-human being were presented at that hearing.
The city of Derna in Libya was nearly washed off the map by catastrophic flooding this week. The death toll from this devastating flooding has surpassed 11,000, and it is expected to rise. Heavy rainfall from Mediterranean storm Daniel caused 2 dams to collapse, sending waves more than 20 feet high sweeping through the area. Drone video shows just how extensive the damage is. Entire neighborhoods washed out to sea. The flooding has displaced more than 30,000 people. Later tonight on KXAN at 7, it's Password. Then at 8, it's American Ninja Warrior. And after that, KXAN will be back with your evening news.